Hello everybody! I'm here to make another video for the next week or so. And this is going to be a kind of weird video. It's going to be a mix of a review for To Ride Hell's Chasm. And I wish I could also say it was like a dual review for To Ride Hell's Chasm and To Dirge for Cascius. But if I'm being perfectly honest, I got about halfway through. I think that's how much that is. Yeah, about halfway through. And had to DNF it. Or it's not a permanent DNF, it's something that I think I might come back to later, but I had my problems with it. And what was very interesting was that when I DNF'd a Dirge for Cascius, it's a detective story. I put it down, then I went to read To Ride Hell's Chasm, which is pretty much another detective story, but I think it leans a little bit less on the mystery side of things. And I think I'm going to take myself a minute, and I'm going to separate these two. Or rather, I'm going to separate the sections that they're in. I'm going to explain why I love To Ride Hell's Chasm, but also at the same time, where a Dirge for Cascius worked, and also where it didn't for me. I think that's the best I can offer at the current moment, because I think I'm going to go back to a Dirge for Cascius. I've heard that the last section is really good, so I do need to finish it, but also I need to understand that it would have sent me into a reading slump. And it's not the quality of the book. It's not the quality. In fact, it's just the way it is. It's ambitious. So let me go ahead and distinguish the two, and let me explain why, one of the first reasons why To Ride Hell's Chasm hooked me where a Dirge for Cascius did not. So the first reason is really the mystery. So what's the core mystery at the base of both of these books? This Dirge for Cascius is there is this guy named Cascius, and he's like that old man coming back into action. So he's a detective, a very good detective, and so he's getting this new partner, and he starts to follow this string of murders by people, or maybe it's not made clear, called the Red Hand. It could be a people, it could be a singular person, it could be an organization, it could also not be, but called the Red Hand, and they are murdering. Actually, I take that back. I think it is implied to be a singular person, but it's also possible for more. Anyways, we're following a trail for this one person. While, in contrast, To Ride Hell's Chasm holds the idea of the answer kind of away from you. And I think this is to a Dirge for Cascius' detriment, in that a Dirge for Cascius, I'm just going to call it Dirge from now on, means, or sorry, not means, I was thinking of the definition of Dirge, which is a song of lament, and I think that was a great name, by the way. Anyways, the Dirge for Cascius makes me feel like I already know the answer. That's the problem. I felt like, Red Hand? Yeah, I got it. And it's not the idea that we don't know what the Red Hand is, it's just that we have the Red Hand, and I'm not all that interested in what the Red Hand is. Why aren't I interested in what the Red Hand is? Because I couldn't understand anything in this book. In this book right here. I mean, look. Again, it is a high-quality book. The cover is absolutely stunning. Fun fact, if you play Dark Souls games, or if you've watched the guy named VatiVidya, the artist for this, does the same art as is done in VatiVidya's like hour-long giant videos for Souls games. I just thought that was really cool. I did my research onto this artist because I loved this cover art so much. Anyways, the fact is, this is a really complex world. And so I'm going to start delving into the differences in world. This felt like something on the level of Stormlight in the span of 450 pages, and in Stormlight, I'm kind of eased into it. Yeah, we are shoved into the middle of things, but at the same time, we're shoved, and we are slowly building to a more complex understanding of it. We don't need to know every little facet of Stormlight when you're like 200 pages in. Here, I need to understand everything, because this is a detective novel. I want to try and figure it out on my own. And I think that the complexity of the world is a detriment to the fact that this is a detective novel. And that's kind of sad. But I also think that's the case for me. Maybe some other people disagree. Maybe people think this is easy as crap, and I'm just not very bright, but this was hard. It was really hard to grasp my hand or to get my head around. There's a, like, 20-page, maybe not 20, maybe 10. What's it called? Glossary. No, it is 20. Yeah, it's 20 pages. 20-page glossary for all the made-up terms and all that. And the world building is, again, really interesting. But in To Ride Hell's Chasm, we have not a very simple world, if you will. It's a world that fits the narrative purpose. What do I mean by that? It's... And I actually, now that I think about it, I think the goal of these two books is so different in how they choose to arrive for their detective, or their mystery. In To Ride Hell's Chasm, the goal is not to find the mystery. The goal is to discover human prejudice and root out all the rifts between our own country. Let's say our own country. Let's say your home country was in danger, and the two people in charge of it, I don't know who, are very different races. One is native, let's say Australia. Let's say Australia is in danger. Don't ask why I'm using Australia. The head of Australia is an Aussie. I think that's how you know, maybe I shouldn't call them Aussies. Australian. And the guy who's right next to him, let's say that somebody's just as important and has the skill to save them all. But he's like Russian. And by doing that, by having that contrast of Australian and Russian must save Australia, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Why would the Russian try to help Australia? Well, he wants to help Australia, okay? Don't question the motives. But here we have that same kind of idea. We have a foreigner, and then we have, or that's the wrong character, that's the foreigner, and his name is Mikhail, and then we have Taskin, who is the commander of all the forces in the nation of Sicily. I think that's the name of the country. I think that's the name. Anyways, the fact remains, they have to work past those prejudices of, hey, you're a foreigner, I can't trust you, to, okay, you have the skills that I need to save my country, to save the people I love. And if you don't get off your ass, and if the people who are being high and mighty don't get off their high horses, and I just realized that was a terrible pun. If you've read To Ride Hell's Chasm, you understand that horses are extremely important to the story, and, anyways, To Ride Hell's Chasm, if they don't get off their high horses and sit down with everybody and even the playing field and try to say, okay, we need every hand we can get, but also try to understand that there are points in time where you're just going to have to put faith in people. You can't just get away with putting somebody on a tight leash and saying, you're going to be right here, and you're going to do everything I say. No. Sometimes you got to let people do their own thing and have faith that they are doing what's best for your nation. And it is about bridging that gap. While A Dirge for Cascius is not about bridging that gap. It is self-discovery. It is understanding what is missing in yourself while trying to find that mystery. And again, here in To Ride Hell's Chasm, it is about working together. We even need the animals. We need the help of the horses to help us maintain, or not maintain, bring our nation together and keep it safe. Keep our families safe. That is the goal here. While here, it is very different. And the only reason I really wanted to contrast these two is I think they're very different, but also they're, at the end of the day, they're detective stories. I wanted to analyze why I thought they were so different. And that's about it. This is... I don't think I have much more to say other than To Ride Hell's Chasm was awesome. It was a fantastic book, and now I think I'm just going to go a little bit into spoilers, so... There you go. There was your warning. Anyways, probably one of my favorite facts was that I think it wasn't until the last 200, 300 pages where we finally got that... We got to discover that there was a sorcerer behind everything. That was kind of obvious. Wait, no. We knew that very early. That there were the shapeshifters. And that was why Anja left the nation. Because she was able to realize, oh, my brother's gone. And the man who I thought was the love of my life is also gone. And they are replaced by monsters. I think the ending was a little rushed. In that I really didn't want to talk about the ending. Because... in the spoiler-free section, talking about the ending is like, hey, look, ending over there. Ooh, let me just kind of pull these strings right here, and let me just make sure you can't see who the puppeteer is, but let me make sure you can see the string. And that's kind of annoying, at least for me. I don't like... Oh, I do. That was a lie. I look up spoilers all the time, and I don't want to, but also at the same time I like it, because then I can go, what's that over there? Anyways. The ending was... I felt like it was a bit quick. Maybe it's that I'm crazy, and this was just a generally fast-paced book, but I feel like it was too quick. And I'm not so sure if there is a reason to that, but there were a couple... Yeah, Urania, for example. Urania just kind of comes back, and I didn't understand why. That is Mikhail's love interest, if you haven't read the book. Or, not love interest, it was his old lover, who he was going to marry, but then eventually... Oh god, I've got to sneeze. I don't think I'm gonna cut that out, because I don't want to. That is work, you see, and I don't like this to be work. And, again, I could spoil A Dirge for Cascius, but it's not gonna help you. I'm halfway through the book. It doesn't... Nothing I can talk about in Dirge for Cascius is gonna do anything. But, To Ride Hell's Chasm... The ending, I liked it, but still at the end of the day, it was, it felt a little rushed. Like, I felt like a couple things were coming back into pieces. Like, I don't know what happened to the sorcerer. Maybe it's just that I'm crazy. Was he the high mage of that other country, or was it a vizier? It doesn't matter. I didn't know what happened to the sorcerer. Maybe it's that I'm crazy and didn't put the pieces together, and oh well. But I kind of wish I'd understood what happened to the sorcerer, because how are you going to go back to your own country when it's being invaded by a sorcerer who's still alive? That's what I didn't get. But, again, maybe I'm just crazy and didn't realize the obvious reason that was right in front of me. Probably that. And Arania was probably my biggest gripe, in that I was very happy that Mikhail was able to live a happy life, or at least it seems like he's going to go live a happy life. But still, Arania just comes back. Do you really come back from the sort of insanity that was inflicted on her by Rathtet for no reason? And I think it was partially that hope aspect, but I feel like Janie Wurz is a brilliant and very skilled author. I think she could have figured out how Arania could have come back in a more logical reason, or a logical way, than just kind of like panning over to her and going, "She's awake now!" Again, I think it is very possible that I didn't think of it very well, but all the same. Or I didn't put the pieces together when they were right in front of me. So, who knows? Anyways, those were my thoughts on To Ride Hell's Chasm and A Dirge for Cascius. Thank you for watching. Have you read either of these books? Have you read A Dirge for Cascius? Have you read To Ride Hell's Chasm? If so, what are your thoughts? My thoughts on To Ride Hell's Chasm, it was honestly, for me, it was like I just ate a giant meal that was so good. Maybe not Italian, but like hibachi, you know? You eat everything you can off your plate and stuff yourself full, and then it's like, you can't move after that. You're stuffed. And then you're like, I'm happy now. The world is so good. It's great. Now I'm just going to lay back. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go take a nap and love life. That's what it felt like, because it was a very... it felt optimistic to me. Though I know that Janie Wurz wrote it as a frustration piece. Maybe like a how-to guide on how people should come together. Please, for God's sake, stop being annoying pricks about, oh, look at you! You have a different skin color! You suck. Like that sort of thing. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have you read either of these two books? If so, what are your thoughts? I'm terrible about the comments or asking questions at the end of the video. I failed to do it in my last video. Anyways, I hope you all have a great day. Fool's Assassin will be next, and I can't wait for that. See ya.